He's picked up.
What happened?
It wasn't me. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back live. We with all of this, that's going to be part of it.
Yep.
We're going to have technical difficulties, things that we got to work through. But
A few things going on here that you can't see.
that's right.
I'm shutting my sound off now on my phone.
You're doing great.
We're trying to figure things out, but
I just wanna
I
make
feel like
sure.
we have done pretty well up to this point. So this is the inaugural podcast, first one that we've ever done. And because that's the case, we felt like the best case for this first show is just to talk about who we are, what brought us to this point, and kind of just give background to, what brought us to Ultra Products. It's probably been a year and a half ago that Doug came to me and said, has it been that long?
It's been a while.
I think it has.
Yeah.
So we opened in May,
Yes, but we bought it
but
in
we-
September.
She had posted, they had posted that they were going to be closing.
Yeah.
And,
So it's been close to a year and a half now.
Crazy.
and not out of issues, just ready to retire.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's-
I mean, we got to give props to Carla and that family
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
for keeping such an amazing business open for what,
Roughly 50 years, right?
50?
Well, Gordon, he sold me my first bow, and he's a gem in my
Yeah,
mind.
Yeah.
So,
It's a nonstop thing. Guys coming in and saying, well, I went there when, Gordon. And
Yeah.
and that's what we called it for years.
Yeah.
The locals anyway.
just called it Gordon's.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So anyway, so we have to kick this off on somebody basically doing a short rundown of who they are. Because there's going to be some people that'll find us that don't even know your name. So
Yeah. So my name's Wes Hutchcraft. I live in Harold, Illinois, and I've lived most of my life here in Fairfield. So that's basically who I am. I've got a wife and 3 kids that I love dearly. So
how about this guy over here?
do you
it's
love
gonna
your
be a
wife and
long-
kids dearly
I
as well?
love them probably nearly as much as you love yours.
It's
I'd
going to
say.
be maybe a longer story. There's a lot more to your story as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I sure hope he's got more going on than that. But whatever. That's a good start. I'm
Mm.
Doug Doty. I've I live in the Norris City area, actually not far from Wes, and so we've spent a lot of time together and over the years hunting and fishing and doing the things we love to do. And just as he's mentioned, family is very important to us. Wife and 3 kids, myself as well, and that's a big part of that. Support at home's a big thing for the lifestyle that we've chosen to live in the outdoors.
Yeah, it is.
We find ourselves away a lot doing different things, and some people would maybe consider even a little bit crazy at times, but it's what we've chosen to do, and having good support at home's a big deal.
So you've been here from Connecticut. I don't want to add to your story, but just so people know, for how many years have you been?
So we
Because you came from Connecticut, grew
right,
up there.
yeah, I primarily grew up in Connecticut and hunting and fishing and doing the things I love to do there. But we moved here in the early 2000s and to the Southern Illinois area, and eventually settled on Norris City as what we really liked. And
So
I
you've
mean,
been-
what made you settle on North City?
Norris
when,
City.
when were you like, this is it?
Yeah.
So okay,
Was
so
it
this,
like the Chuck Norris connection?
so at first it was because it was pretty catchy, but
Yeah.
after that I realized that this should be easy for you guys to understand. There's a lot of big deer in White County. Do you guys know that?
It's known for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
I
that
mean-
was a thing.
You just
And
made
so-
a bunch of enemies.
Yeah. Well, I just can't help that.
You already had them, didn't you?
I mean, they're probably already there. I mean, will it be worse? I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to help you out real quick because you got a
Stink
bug.
bug.
Oh,
crawling
look
on
at
you.
that. Look at that. Those things.
Yeah. Rascal.
Rascals.
Yeah.
So you've been here 22-ish, 3-ish
Yeah,
years.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's right.
That's you.
All right. So I'm Brent Legg. I'm originally from Wayne City. and currently live in Fairfield. Also have 3 kids. I think we all have 3.
Man,
So
How many
the
kids you got,
triples
Doug?
club.
yeah.
3.
Oh yeah.
So we all have 3 kids. Okay.
Yeah.
So 3 kids, wife, love them dearly. I think we all have that in common. So, yeah. What about you?
I grew up in Wayne County, still in Wayne County. I have left Wayne County a couple times, but I'm still here. Living in Wayne City, grew up here, went to school in Fairfield, moved to Wayne City to be closer to my church and things like that. So have a wife, been married 25 years, 3 kids. My youngest one just turned 18. So dealing with the empty nest to some degree, which is fine with me.
You'll get used
That's why
to
you
it.
have them, to raise them and get them out, right? No, I'd be happy if they'd all just stay, but they got to go live their lives. So anyway, that's
That's where
that.
you're at in the stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do
Growed.
attend Lathan's church.
You
Hey,
did.
that's a good one.
I feel like I should say that.
So you moved to Fairfield to come back to church at Wayne City, and I moved to Wayne City to get away from
That's
Fairfield.
right.
And
That's
no.
right.
Which most people would probably know, but what is it? We're talking, I moved 10 miles.
Yeah.
Big move.
Yeah. Yeah. So it wasn't real drastic, but anyway,
So that's who we are,
that's who we are.
but that's not what brought us here necessarily to
No, that's just who we are personally in a
Yeah.
nutshell. But what got us, I guess, so you just want to dive in? Because if you haven't picked it up by now, we're talking about basically the road that got us to being part of Ultra Products.
yeah. And
The-
what
the
it is
shop.
even.
And what Ultra Products is.
Yeah.
And so we just have to dive off in that. We don't have any format to speak of. As far as paper in front of us, we just have to see where it goes.
Yeah. And I think that's the cool thing about this is that can be good or that can be bad. But I feel like with us,
It's kind of how we roll.
yeah, we've got Doug that's a talker and we've got a preacher on one side. And then we've
Yeah,
got me
that's
and
true.
Brent that's
Yeah.
just, we're good at nodding our heads.
That's not the
We'll chime
case.
in.
Yeah, I think that's a misrepresentation.
Yeah.
We'll chime in every once in a while. Have fun.
But here we go. No, so anyway, I mean, I don't know, what to say as far as, I mean, most people, I guess I shouldn't say that. Some people may not know what Ultra Products is.
I bet there's several that don't.
And I know for sure, as the podcast grows, there'll be people that don't know. So,
Yeah.
So I guess maybe go from there and just explain.
Yeah.
Ultra Products, because we're talking about how did we end up here?
Yeah. So do you want to take that? Or
No,
you want
go
me to?
ahead.
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
Ultra
And-
Products started in 1972.
Yeah, you would know that better.
Yep.
Good
And
job.
it was a distributor in the archery industry, distributed to a lot of small shops, and over time developed into even a dealer. So they opened a retail location. Carla ran that for years. Her dad ran it previously, Gordon, and that's where we grew up going in. I mean, whenever we bought it, there was something like about the bells on the door that I was like, we have got to have that, because to me it was like almost like symbolic, like when you
There
go
are
in
a
a
lot of
place.
years, yeah.
Yeah. And so last year, about a year and a half ago, Doug came to me and was like, hey, I don't know if you realize it, but Carla's going to close up shop. And
Which is Ultra Products.
yeah.
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, well, that can't happen. And so we began to put in works to try and fix that and to keep that in the community. Because if there's anything that we're all about, it's having good, solid businesses in a community. And I mean, me and Brent, we've got a couple other businesses that we work together on, me and Lathan and Brent and a friend of ours also. We've got Doug that is actively working with us on another business. So to say that we believe in small business, like to me, it's something I'm pretty passionate about. I feel like small business is what keeps this country moving. I mean,
I'd agree.
everybody looks at Walmart and they're like, nah, don't necessarily want to go there if I can
Yeah.
keep from it. But, and even to the point to where you might be willing to pay a little bit more. And so Doug came to us and said that was going to happen. And instantly I went to Lathan. Me and Lathan grew up together. Gosh.
We would have met. Well, we would have met. We would have had a knowing of each other
I'm sure that we were in church services
because,
together.
ironically, yeah, our dads would have grew up together.
Yeah, like
and went into ministry together. And well,
Well,
my dad lived at your grandparents' house
Yeah.
I've heard so many stories about your grandma.
so there's
Glenn
ties
was-
that go back for
Yeah.
years and years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, well, your Uncle Jim and my dad were best friends. Your
Yep.
Uncle Jim is the one that talked my dad into going to revival at King's Community Church
Yeah, the night he got saved.
the night he got saved. And he
Yeah.
wasn't going to go to church that night, but Dad always tells the story, Jim was tall, dark, and handsome, and Dad was what he is. And he said that he didn't want to go anyway. Jim said, well, I'll get you a date with one of the starting cheerleaders, one of the varsity cheerleaders. And Dad's like, I'm in, Long story short, Dad gives his heart to Jesus, and the cheerleader didn't, and they never went out again.
Yeah.
And it was an ordained time, no doubt. But anyway, so yeah, that tie goes back way deeper back then. And then it would have been in between my junior and senior year,
Yeah, I was going into my freshman year.
right?
Yeah.
When I went to church camp and I give my heart to the Lord and changed things drastically in my life.
Yeah, I was pretty ticked that you came to church camp that year because I
No
was
kidding.
like, yeah, because the ladies, man, they were swooning.
He didn't stand a
Competition.
chance.
Yeah.
It was we got to watch going down that road, don't we? So anyway, anyhow, I didn't want to turn it into a testimony, but went to church camp, turned my life around, went back to school as a senior, and that wasn't as popular as it was before.
Yeah.
And I just say, that, like I said, the Lord put Wes in my life because my best friends weren't my best friends no more.
Yeah.
So we become best friends, long story short.
And I didn't have the same like interest that he had at the time. I mean, but he invited me to go deer hunting, and the rest is history,
All
man.
down-
That's right.
All downhill from there, right?
Yeah.
If he would have only known at the time.
Yeah,
Which we coon hunted a lot.
we did.
And I coon hunted before, but I was not near as interested in running dogs coon hunting
Yeah.
as you was. And you birthed that within me. We went every night and loved it,
Got lost a lot.
chased that old blaster dog all
Yeah.
over the bottoms.
But
and
Wes, your dad was big into coon dogs at the time, wasn't he?
Dad loved it. I mean,
and that's the way my dad is.
Yeah.
He's not much to deer hunt. He has and does maybe some, but man, running dogs. coon
so when
hounds.
Lathan mentioned going deer hunting, that was foreign to me. I didn't know anything about it, and he gave me my first bow, and so he's
So-
almost
so
like
we
a
gotta name the
dad
bows.
in
We
regards
got-
to that. You know,
we got to name the bows.
He does look a lot older than you.
I don't know about that,
This
man.
could go bad.
I'll take that.
My gray is coming in fierce.
Way in the-
Yeah.
I think we're all getting there.
Well, if you got 4 businesses, you're bound to have some great.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And 3 kids.
But
Yep.
the Bible says it's wisdom.
That's right.
Let's say it's
Very
wisdom.
wise.
So look how wise.
Yeah, look at here.
I'm gonna go
That
shave my
is-
wisdom off later.
So let's get back to that bow. What bow was that?
That was a Bear Whitetail Legend 2.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yep. I think.
Polymer cams and
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you'd like a bear whitetail legend, you can buy one here.
Here at Ultra Product.
You
That's
can probably
right.
find
We
one
actually
somewhere.
have. Is it a
We
legend?
do have a legend. Yeah, they renamed it.
It
It's
could be
funny.
the very same bow. There's no
Well,
telling.
Doubt that. But that was my first bow.
Yeah.
You never really think about that till you get talking about it. But your first bow, that you killed with, right?
Yeah.
Was my first bow.
My
that I
giant
killed with.
8-pointer, man.
Yeah, we'll tell that story here in a little bit. probably.
Yeah.
But the story on that is I wanted to bow hunt so bad, so bad. My dad did not. He would gun hunt, but he never did bow hunt. And I wanted to hunt so bad. I have an uncle, Uncle Brad, that was like passionate bow hunter. And of course, I have a cousin that's my same age that was like, oh, this is going to be my first year bow hunting. I remember thinking, I'm upset because he's going to be able to go hunting. I mean, 3 months, bow season, because gun season here in Illinois is 3 days,
Yeah.
4
and then
days.
4 days. Yeah.
Now that's it now, the
Yeah.
muzzleloader. But like I just wanted to be out there. So finally I think it was my 6th grade year, and you got to put a date on that. So I'm 43.
That would be 80 or 90.
Be like
4.
90, yeah, 93, 94, somewhere in there. I get I'm on my parents to get me a bow because I want to bow hunt. And I'm in the 6th grade. And times are way different then. Think about youth bows. What would you know about a youth bow in 91
Right.
or
right.
2? I'm sure they existed.
Minimally, comparatively to
Yeah,
today.
but it's just like you go in a bow shop. Well, here's the deal. In 6th grade, I didn't even know there was such thing as a bow shop.
Yeah.
I have no idea to this day. I never did ask where that bear whitetail legend come from. I would say, remember Walmart used to sell
Well,
them.
that would be my guess. Yeah. That very
Walmart used
possibly.
to sell them. So for my
Yep.
birthday that year, May the 11th.
But Walmart doesn't sell bows now, so you need to come here.
Yeah, and if they do, don't buy them there anyway. But times were different then. Sam was still alive.
That's right.
Sam Walton, right? Was that
Yeah.
his name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But old Roy, the dog. But anyway, so I get that. I open that bow on my birthday, May the 11th. And Dad goes, there you go. Happy birthday. And I was like, all excited. Well, it was not a youth bow.
Oh,
So it's a
right,
70-pound bow, probably.
Right.
I'm assuming. I don't even remember now, but
Right.
I'd say it was a 60, 70.
Right.
And I get it out of the box. I'm all excited, and I grabbed a hold of it and went to rip and pull on it. And,
tougher than it looked.
oh, yeah. What? I probably pulled it 2 inches. And Dad looked at me like, well, if you want to hunt with it,
Yeah.
I guess you got till October to figure out how to pull that thing back. And that's about how it unfolded.
Yeah.
But it was motivation because I pulled that thing back. And I don't know, I may have learned how to turn it down like to 60 pounds. My Uncle Brad would have helped me with stuff like that, I'm sure. I don't remember that, but I remember October 1st rolled around and I was shooting that bow.
Yeah, you were fortunate because that that bow was one of the first bear bows that you could turn down substantially. A lot of the original bear whitetails didn't have limb bolts like you
Right.
would have on bows even currently. They had the double that cam system where you could pull the cables over on the other cam or let them off,
Yes,
but it really didn't. You actually had one that you could adjust a little bit.
it had limb bolts. The grip, was
Yes.
as big as round as the end of a baseball bat, all
Yep,
that stuff.
Yep.
The limbs were like this wide.
Yep.
Remember solid limbs that were
Oh,
real
yeah.
wide?
Yep. Yep.
Polymer, like plastic cams.
Yeah, the
on it,
cams were, which
with
is amazing.
cables,
Yeah.
swedges, and
Yep. Teardrop.
teardrops in
Yep.
one string instead of a set of strings.
Yeah, that's
cables.
right. Made lots of noise, lots of vibration.
So we went down that road, but anyway, we started with that. So you would have started hunting then. You said that you were going, that would have been like your sophomore year probably, right? Of high school.
No, I think it was the first year of my freshman year.
So I was going into my senior year when we really, really started running and hanging out.
Okay, so it would have been my sophomore year. then. Yeah.
Because it was between my junior and senior year that I went to that church camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, man, you need to go deer hunting. And I don't remember from there on. I think you were basically like, okay.
Well,
I remember the tree that he put me in. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to take you to the iron stand."
Yeah, the
I was
iron
like, "Oh,
stand.
the iron stand."
Everybody wanted to.
Yeah. He didn't tell me that the iron stand was made out of iron, so you literally froze.
Yeah, your butt
in the
would
cold.
freeze to it in the cold frosty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't set too long. Kept you from staying in. I had to stand up, sit down.
And not
Yeah.
only that, but the platform on it was like,
It was sucker rods. I built it in shop class,
Oh my.
so it was good and safe.
you're a sucker if you hunted out of it.
It was it's crazy. I remember this. It was like 1.25 inch galvanized water pipe
Oh my.
for the frame. And then the platform was sucker rods, like your what would be the size? Not 3/4, probably 5/8 or something
Yeah, I'd
like
say
that. Sucker
5/8
rods
probably, yeah.
laid across there and welded on that.
So it's really lightweight.
And then an iron plate steel, like cold roll, probably almost 1/4 inch.
Oh yeah, it was heavy.
Welded to the top of the two pipes for the seat.
Oh my. All right.
And we just chained it.
It's
to the
probably
tree.
still there.
No, I took it down.
Did you?
It's in McLeansboro, Illinois somewhere.
Well,
Is this where
somebody's probably scrapped it.
is this where the love of
That's-
welding started?
Could be. Yeah.
Shop.
I shop class. I started welding and you guys need to talk too, but I'll keep telling stories. But I had a shop teacher like
Preacher.
I'm enjoying
I had a
it.
shop teacher. I had a shop teacher. It's like, here's the deal, guys. First day of class. If you go out in the shop and do something, A. If you sit in here, C. I was like,
Was that
A.
big A?
No, no. It would have been what was his name? I know what they called him.
Let's be careful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mr. Whitwer,
okay. Yep,
Mr.
I do
Whitwer.
remember Mr.
Short,
Whitwer.
reddish hair. Yeah.
Yep.
So we need to finish about that because we're talking about bows. I guess your first
With
bow
the
was a
hunt?
Whitetail Legend
Yeah.
2. My first bow was the same bow, but I had that bow. The reason I could give it to you, I had it laying around
Did you get a Pearson?
because I had stepped up to a Pearson Bushmaster.
Oh,
Oh, you lucky dog. I
Yeah,
think we've got one of those back there too.
Pearson Bush. No,
It's
No, we've got a
if
Jennings.
if we had a
Mhm.
Pearson Bushmaster, I would
you'd
I
already
would-
have it.
I would take it just for sentimental
Yeah.
reasons. It had round wheels, probably like a 10-inch brace height.
Oh, yeah.
Back then the
Oh,
brace
yeah.
heights were
Yeah.
huge. The bow was huge too. But anyhow, man, I killed some deer with that. That's when I came into my. That's when I got a little seasoned. And when I got it tied behind the ear, they were in trouble if they were within 15 yards.
Season of death.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So, could you remember your first bow?
Yeah. I had an original bear whitetail, which was,
Oh, I had the two.
yeah, I had the original one, which I'm a year or two older than you guys,
Three,
but it,
4, 5.
it's
No,
not,
go
that's
ahead.
unimportant.
Yeah.
But it also was not a youth bow at all, and it was very difficult to shoot. They were difficult to shoot anyway, but I had to work my way into it at like 10 years old to try to figure out how to shoot it. And but I literally, but I did work it out because you could kind of cheat and kind of pop those.
So, how old were you then, though? Do you remember that?
What year was this, Doug?
Again, these are
Let's nail this
unimportant
down.
details. But say I was roughly 10 years old.
1936.
10 years old?
Oh yeah, I remember. I was
So,
bow
how old
hunting.
are you in 6th grade? I don't even know that. I
In
would have
sixth
been
grade.
12.
I think you're younger than that.
I just remember.
Stella is 11 and she's in 6th grade. So.
So
There you go.
11ish.
Yeah.
So I just remember by 10 years old, I was bow hunting an old Baker climber tree stand, and they were deadly. But you know,
You climbed in a Baker
oh
when
yeah,
you're
for a
when you're-
long time.
When you're 10 or 11.
Oh yeah,
Does your parents love you?
yeah. Maybe they did kept waving goodbye a lot.
It's like,
You know, but yeah,
send
those,
Doug out with this old Baker.
Yeah.
So you hugged the tree.
oh yeah, hug the tree. There was no climbing aid at that
The
point.
guys don't. The guys
Yeah,
don't know
so,
about that.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, plus where I lived, it was kind of cold by deer season in November. So you're all bundled up and you get there and now you've got to, with all these clothes on, try to hug the tree. And, you know, the stand was heavy and clanky
there
and
wasn't.
loud.
People think climbers. They think two pieces.
yeah, in those days, there
mostly.
was a platform.
It was a platform
no
with one
seat.
bottom. You
Right.
hugged the tree like a bear
Right.
and pulled the
Yeah,
bottom up.
pull the bottom up. It made lots of noise.
It's only
it
for the
slipped.
real men.
Well, there was some scary moments, and it didn't even have to be slippery outside to have it slide down the tree. It would just do it. But yeah, we started doing that. And the thing was, though, it was an adventure. I loved it. I didn't care if there was deer or no deer. I just
Right.
liked going and doing it. And we didn't have the numbers of deer in that part of the world as there is in the Midwest. So there was a lot of times the sits were pretty uneventful, but man, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was awesome. And I wasn't even good at it, but it didn't matter. I liked to go. And eventually, it worked itself out into be an actual successful event from time to time.
Right.
So, but
There's something special about those early sits, like as
Oh,
a
yeah.
kid.
oh,
where
for
it's,
sure.
It's almost like a sense of independence.
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
my first hunts, see, my dad just dropped me off.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I know that's like unheard of nowadays. You like drive a sixth grader 3 or 4 miles from the
Yeah.
house and say, "I'll pick you up after dark."
Right.
But that's what they did a lot of times with me. And if they didn't drive me, I walked a mile and a half or 2
Oh, yeah.
down the road.
Whatever it takes. Yeah.
to
Yeah,
the
that's right.
stand. But anyhow, we're trying to get to how we got here. I guess inevitably,
This is really part of it.
inevitably
so.
it is. But what about your first bow, Brent?
Yeah. Just wanna
Do you
talk about
remember
that.
it? Do you remember
We
it?
start with an N, ERF.
Let's go back to your friendship with Wes.
So anyway, tell us a little bit. Some people aren't going to know, so you're maybe not an archer.
I'm not. Well, I mean,
Not yet.
you need to. Yeah, not yet. Yeah.
You have shot a
Yeah.
bow, but
So do you want to preface how we
Well,
met?
I was
Is
going to
that-
say, is
yeah,
my
yeah, do
memory's a little
that.
foggy.
Do that.
Well, it was. See, you went to Lathan, talked to him about it.
Yeah.
Are you talking about how
Well,
we
go-
met?
yeah.
Me and you met.
I would go
met,
back
yeah.
because we
Met.
were kind of, and we still need, if we want to go that route, we need to find out how we met
Douglas.
Wisdom over here.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know how we met.
Father time.
The first time I remember meeting you was at Orchardville Church.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember you coming up to me. And at the time, you and Jason had been doing P90X.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
And why in the world I remember that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was jealous.
I don't know.
But
I wish I looked like him.
That's funny. 'Cause
Couldn't you just hear him saying that
yeah.
under his breath? Real
I
soft?
pretty
it
much
wasn't
say
for
that
me.
a lot of
wasn't, for, wasn't yeah. But
times.
that's how I remember you. Actually, is always seeing you at church at
Yeah.
Orchardville.
You might come a little bit closer to that.
My
mic.
little low, sorry.
Yeah.
And nothing specific. Just always been like, "Hey, Wes, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?" And that's
And
so it's odd that
And how that all came about was I started working for a photo studio here in town,
mhm.
and I'd been there. I used to be a youth pastor, and I left from the youth pastor position to start doing working at a photo studio, and then me and another friend came and approached you because we liked what you were doing, we liked the work that you were doing, and that's how
Yeah.
that came about.
Yeah.
We ended up joining, and
You're like, come over here. Let's
Because
merge.
you had got into photography.
Right.
Yeah, and he was-
Photography. There you
he was
Yep.
he was phenomenal at it. Truthfully,
go. I heard he was
Well,
making
but-
real waves in the community.
yeah,
I actually did hear that.
yeah, he was.
I don't
I
know about
did.
that.
I had my brother-in-law showed me some pictures like when you first started or shortly after.
Hope it was years after because the first ones were rough.
Well, it would have been
Your t-shirts are what stand out to me because
Oh,
I
man.
remember I was like, well, is this the guy that we want to deal with or not?
it was senior pictures.
They were
Those are
that
a little.
good, huh?
Those
It
are
would
a
have
little
been
cringy.
senior
Yeah.
pictures of my like one of my nephews and nieces
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that's cool. It was
Yeah.
cool.
He was
Yeah.
doing some cool stuff.
But yeah, you messaged me like, why don't you come over and we'll merge? And it's just so funny how that played out.
It's a God thing, man.
Oh man,
It is 100%
Yeah.
a God
no,
thing.
no question. Yeah,
Like,
So
and
you-
truthfully, what's brought all four of us into this
yeah,
around this table is a God
yeah,
thing.
100%.
So
So you merged.
We merged
You took
my business.
what would have been leg photography
and Witter Studio
Yeah.
formed Iconic.
and turned
Yep.
it into Iconic Studio.
yep.
And,
And then
that was what 12.
13 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Time
is
flies.
yeah, that's crazy to think about.
13,
I guess 12.
12 and a half.
12, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. But
Yeah.
man, what a journey that was, or is, still is.
Still is.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then,
go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, I mean, we've been together a long time, me and you,
Yeah.
and,
And that
you
business now is
slowly-
thriving and doing well.
Yeah, that business
so
is doing well.
thanks
We-
to Brent.
no,
Yeah.
thanks to Jamie Ford. Shout out, brought her
Yeah.
on. She
All
helped.
the important people.
Yeah.
grow it, yeah. But
But so since we're trying to get to how we got to here, that was good. And we talked to Doug, but how did a guy from Connecticut that moved to Chuck Norris City or North City
Yeah.
in White County end up with this crowd?
So it was a little before the Norris City move, because originally when we when we moved here, we moved to the El Dorado area, and early on in the 2000s, I started doing some guiding for deer hunts, and that grew into something that was a little bigger than I thought it would be, and a little bit overwhelming. But we made some contacts with industry people in the hunting world, and there was a time, and I might have been through Mike Blackford, possibly, because I was going to church with
Maybe. I don't.
Mike. I don't.
I just
for sure.
remember you emailed Craig Clark,
Right.
and Craig was like, "Do you know this Doug Doty guy?" I was like, "Have no idea who he is." He's like, "Well, he wants to sit down with us," and
There was a juncture of time, if I'm correct, that was the Team Harvest days,
yeah,
early.
yep,
And you guys were looking to solidify some relationships with some sponsors,
Yeah.
if possible. And
and Doug knew a lot of people because he has an outfitting business, so he already had a lot of relationships built.
So did Doug reach out
Doug reached out to
to
Craig.
Craig?
Yeah.
Well,
So we were such a hot topic. You were wanting to sponsor us.
I think what happened is I'm trying to remember, and this may be incorrect, but
I'm just joking.
but I want to say that because the one connection in people, I went to church with Mike Blackford in those days
Yeah.
at Crossroads, and I think somehow or other there was a connection made because you knew Mike, I knew Mike, I didn't know you,
Yeah.
you didn't know me, but we knew him, and there was a call was made to me at some point, and it might have been through Mike or it might have been outside of that, but I think that might have been the connection that was made early on.
So
Possibly.
we really don't even know.
I just, it's been a while, and it's
You're just
kinda-
like that guy you turn around and he's always there.
yeah.
Does anybody know that guy?
Where did this guy come from? So we however it transpired, the initial contact there with Craig, we met in Carmi at the Mexican place.
Yeah.
And
Because I was in Team Harvest and I don't remember none of this.
Well, nothing ever came out of it. We was like, we don't want to work with
my.
that guy.
Oh my. See how this goes. I'm trying to be
we
good.
see how he runs his operation.
No, I think he was one of the primary reasons why we ended up getting sponsored by Bowtech,
Well,
because
No kidding.
yeah, because we sat down and talked with Doug, and Doug was like telling us, you need to go ahead and send stuff to these people and these people, and Craig sent it to Bowtech, and we ended up getting sponsored.
Did he
by him.
name drop? Did he name drop?
Oh, you know he did.
so let's be clear on some of these things. So in those days, I didn't know if any of those would turn out to be anything that would be usable for you, but just because I had some experience with these people,
He saw an email address scratched on the stall of a bathroom and was like, here you go.
it wasn't that poorly done.
Yeah. At a
But I
BP
just,
gas station.
It was hard to say, but I remember some of the conversation. There was no guarantee that, and in those days, I really didn't know how the whole sponsorship thing was really going to work out or play out anyway.
Right, right.
And things were changing rapidly
didn't
at that
either.
time. Yeah,
We
it was.
had no idea.
Yeah, so
It was fantastic.
because I think at that time we ended up talking about Grim Reaper and
Oh yeah, we did.
and-
And ASAP.
and Bowtech, ASAT.
Yeah.
Rob Smolik was
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's
he
the
was-
good stuff.
Oh,
Name
yeah.
dropper.
Oh, yeah.
Dropping
Yeah,
names.
well, Rob's a really good guy, and we always loved it when he was around and stuff. He's always fun to have around, and really believed in his product. But anyway,
We believe in his product.
yeah,
Still
yeah,
do, yeah.
yeah. I still have a fair amount of ASAT stuff and like it.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah,
For the
that's-
longest time, I thought Doug's couch was made out of ASAT. 'cause
I
he's got-
wrapped that whole thing. I did curtains on the windows in ASAT.
I have seen the ASAT.
Oh
curtains,
yeah, I went on.
Wow.
I said something to Rob one day, and he's if anyone's ever met Rob, he's a character. And one day I was like, there's some things we could do around here to really make this cool, but it'd be nice to have some fabric. We could have some stuff made. He's like, oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. And it was no time at all. There was rolls of ASAP fabric that we made
whole
into
reams,
everything.
Doug's got a
reams.
tuxedo
Oh,
made
yeah.
out of
Like,
ASAT.
he took care of us with jackets and shirts and we had fabric. We made the original lodge that we built. We decked that thing out. There was just ASAT everywhere, and a lot of that's worn out and gone by now
Yeah,
because
sure.
some years have gone by. But it was kind of cool. But those were the relationships that we had. Jay from Grim Reaper and stuff. And did you end up with Grim Reaper?
We
early
did.
on?
We
Yeah.
shot Grim Reapers for a while.
Yeah,
Bowtech, Grim Reaper,
Yeah.
yeah,
and
ASAT,
ASAT,
Victory,
Victory Arrows,
yeah. So it was good.
Brush
that-
Creek Sense.
Brush
Yeah,
Creek.
yeah.
Sense,
I mean,
Chad Greenwald. That, to bring some premise to that, or some Team Harvest. Gosh, what was we? We was a little bitty small production type deal. We started filming hunts, so people
Yeah.
are wondering, like, what are you talking about, Team Harvest? But
I would say it was 2005, somewhere around that we started Team Harvest.
yeah, I think the first DVD was 06. So yeah, we
I
started.
was going to guess 6.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
The
maybe
first
5.
DVD we made was 06.
The
That-
05 season that you brought out
I
in
think
06.
so.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
That sounds about right.
And like I remember in those days, man, it was like sponsorship was easy.
It was way different.
It was way different.
Yeah, so I've never dealt with that part of the business. I just
Well, I mean, Craig was really the one that was
Yeah.
implementing most of that. For
and when we
us.
were doing that, I think back, all my babies were little, so I
Yeah.
was like disconnected to some degree.
Yeah. Well, it's
Watching
it's a
kids
different
working
it's a
full-time
different life
jobs.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I just remember, like, you'd call me and be like, "What do you think about Bowtech?" I was like, "I think it'd be great." I'm still
Yeah.
shooting a Pearson Bushmaster.
that's right.
No, I had.
we
Second
called
bow
we called
ever.
Bowtech and said we videoed a hunt. I'm not even kidding. We videoed a hunt, and it was a doe kill. That was it.
Yeah.
And we did have me and Todd Robertson had killed one buck that we had videoed,
Right.
and so we emailed them, and Craig messaged me or called me, and he's like, "You're not going to believe this, but Bowtech said they're in."
See, they really did like me because there's no
We
way
name
that
dropped.
yeah, I
Oh.
mean, there's no way that worked.
Doug, Doug
you know.
Doty said,
And I mean, within 2 weeks, we had 6 bows come in, and we only
Yeah.
had 4 guys.
yeah,
So
that
was
was
pretty sweet.
that was the year the Bowtech Guardian come out.
yeah.
Yeah, we all
You
got
know, that was
Bowtech
awesome.
Guardians.
Oh man.
One
I
of the
was like,
biggest regrets
oh,
I
man,
had
I
was when
just-
I sold that.
Yeah, I just sat in the living room and looked at it.
We've had a couple of them come into the shop, and I really just wanted to be like, let me just buy this
Yeah.
off of you.
Oh, I've got to set up a couple old ones, restring them, work
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah.
And every time one goes in my hand, I'm like, it's almost like you take a little short walk down memory lane.
Oh yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
They
'cause
were pretty awesome at the time.
They were great.
it. I
They
mean,
were
they were
great.
it. I love that bow.
is that was the first one they did that where they
Center pivot.
yeah,
Yes.
the center pivot
Yeah.
limbs, yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
the-
right. And I mean, there was a lot of other industry people kind of bad mouthing that as a disaster waiting to happen, but that was a really cool deal.
Yeah, it
I
I mean,
was.
those bows were pretty amazing. I
And
really
I
liked-
shot that. I've shot them this year, setting them up.
right.
You know,
And it's
put
still a
restring
pretty
them,
neat
cable
bow.
'em,
Yeah.
set them up, paper tune them, shoots good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing would just shoot.
Yeah.
It would just do what it was supposed to do, which
Yeah.
was pretty amazing because that was coming out of a time frame of bow manufacturing that to today's standards was pretty poor.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, and
To
so-
today's standards, definitely.
yeah. And so that was like, to me, was the first bow I had that I really felt like was amazing. Like,
Well, what was a bow before that you can remember well?
Well, in the Bowtech line,
well, there was,
That you shot and you were like, this thing is awesome.
I had a Jennings Airspeed that it
My,
was like,
well, my XI was good.
Yes, the
Yeah.
XIs, I
Yeah.
went through those.
But
They
like
were-
right before there somewhere, I can't remember what I left to go to Bowtech. But I was shooting. No, I was
It was-
shooting.
It
I
had
was
to be an
shooting
XI.
SQ2 Matthews, wasn't I?
Well, that would be about the right time.
Were
frame.
you?
We weren't sponsored by Matthews, but we hadn't officially kicked off, and we went down there and went turkey hunting. And I got that.
Oh, that's
bow
right. The
thing.
Powell brothers.
That would be about the
Yeah,
right
So
time.
I was
frame.
shooting a great bow. The SQ2, I was
Yeah.
like,
They were pretty
"Heaven,
sweet."
Yeah.
I'm in heaven." But anyway,
Say, say again.
but I would say, I'm sitting here thinking about it, the Bowtech Guardian, other than the Bear Whitetail Legend 2, was
Yeah.
the only, the second brand new bow I ever
Right,
had.
right. Which is a big deal.
Every other
Yeah.
bow was like I bought it from somebody. They'd had it
Right,
for 2 or 3
right.
years. You know,
Yeah.
I had babies and I just
Yeah.
couldn't afford them.
Oh, that's right.
And I didn't afford the Bowtech Guardian. Bowtech so graciously sent them to us.
Yeah.
But
Well, and bows got so expensive. Like prior to some of those bows you just mentioned, bows were $200 items, $250 items. And I can go back a little further because I have a couple of years on you. They were even less than that sometimes. They were under $200.
yeah, I
And
think
We've got some under $200.
Yeah. In fact,
Come
if you'll
in.
come on down, we can
Yeah.
set
Come on down here to Ultra Products in the morning about 10 o'clock. We'll set you up with an under $200 bow. That's not
When-
the setup. That's the bow.
You'll feel set up.
We might have some.
We
that
might be
can
able to do
set
that
up.
too. But I was getting ready to say, we never did I was getting ready to say a bow before,
Right.
like
so-
technology before Bowtech. Matthews was making waves with the harmonic dampening.
Yes. Just
They were starting to stretch risers.
Yeah, a couple of years before Bowtech even came on the scene, obviously it was McPherson and then,
Right.
whatever. But they were making good stuff early on. Obviously, to today's standards, we'd kid around and be like, what are
Sure,
this thing?
sure.
But they were good. But you go just prior to that, now you're talking about the XI Indian Industries bows. They were good.
XI was a big deal.
I shot
Man,
them for
XI
years.
was.
I mean, you could do bad things to them and not blow them up. And I can tell you, I tried.
XI
and so-
Impact.
Yep. The Legend Magnum, I had several of those at 80 pounds and always worked on it to make it 85 or 86.
What was the one
pounds.
that I got from you?
It
We
was an-
went full circle
it was
because
an
I gave
Impact,
you your
wasn't it?
bow and then no, it was a Velocity.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It was like the
Had the
Flatliner's big
overdraw.
brother.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Short little brace height.
Oh
You could
yeah, like
Peel the
Yeah.
skin right
most
off your
guys
arm.
couldn't shoot it.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
I
guys.
couldn't shoot it.
I remember
Apparently.
guys.
Well, you still have that issue, really.
I remember guys being like. I remember guys trying to shoot It was like what was several years there with XI Flatliner.
There was
Velocity Extreme, Magnum.
I think there was a Yo Mama.
yeah, there was definitely not. There was definitely not.
But all those bows were real
They were
close to the same.
they were solid, but they were on the edge of being too fast to control. They were right on that edge where
It literally had like 4.5-inch brace heights and stuff. on
yes,
some of
yeah,
those.
hatchet cams and all
Yeah.
this stuff that these terms don't even exist anymore. But anyway, they were
Brent
brutally
has
fast.
question marks over his
Yeah,
head.
yeah, they weren't real hatchets.
Oh, the
were
old
they?
hatchet cams.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember
But-
those.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I kind of do actually. But they were good. I mean, we used them. One of the things that kind of got me, I was looking at ads for different bows, and I was thinking I would buy a new bow someday. Which, like you, I just never could afford to buy a new bow. And one of the things I saw in one of their advertisements for XI was that they dry fire one of their quality control tests. They would pull one off the line and dry fire it 1,000 times. And I thought, well, hey, if that thing can dry fire 1,000 times, I will never blow this bow up.
Right, which had to be a lie.
Well, I don't want to get into
Maybe
that.
not.
Yeah, I can't.
Doug only did it 999.
And I never actually broke one. I did do some things to them, but I never actually broke one. I made some marks on it, but I never actually broke one. And I worked hard to put it through the paces. But
Do
they
you
were
still
really
have
good.
the XI?
I have the Magnum, which is virtually exactly like the Velocity Extreme that I got from you. I do have it hanging in
Yeah.
the basement.
You had to pull it back out of the archives
I
to
killed a
shoot a
deer
deer
with
with
it
it
a
one
few
year.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A nice buck.
Yeah.
2 nice bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've still got one.
Even
of them
went
in my
high on
house.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
High C.
I see.
Every once in a while when I'm preaching, I get
I-
into high C mode. Yeah.
I get it. Well, you were excited.
Yeah.
This is important
Mm.
stuff.
I'm remembering stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, what's one of your bows didn't come in time, and
Just checking to see where we're at on
Yeah.
time.
We were sponsored.
there was a
It's going
change.
by fast, ain't it?
Yeah.
It is, man.
We were sponsored, and yeah, it just hadn't come in, and I was like, I'll just pull out the old XI, and then it kind of got to be a joke.
It wasn't a
People-
joke. To
He
that
killed
buck.
another one
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, people laughed about it, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember like putting a sight tape on it, putting a modern sight
Yeah.
with sight tapes and stuff, and or an adjustable sight.
Yeah.
And was thinking that it wasn't.
Are we still live?
I don't know that it wasn't that much
Okay.
slower
Mm.
than some
Really?
of my newer modern bows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that one a 70 or 80 pounds?
70 pound.
Well, I
Had
remember.
limbs, limbs
Yes.
like that long that bent.
Oh
whatever.
yeah, there's a sheet of plywood in your hands. Yeah.
Right.
I remember the video when he shot that. I think it was the second shot he took at that one buck.
Yeah.
It was out there. I don't remember the yardage, but it was a long way.
It was at least 40 yards, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
The first shot was
The first
just-
one was close.
the
But I
second
don't know
one
what
was-
happened.
It was
there.
way more than that,
The
wasn't it?
second one was like 90.
Yeah,
some
it was like
yards.
it was over 90 yards. I remember watching the arrow just.
Oh, the second.
Yeah, I hit him good.
Yes, but which is nuts, dude, that you shot a deer over 90 yards with an XI.
yeah,
Legend, Magnum, legend.
Magnum. That's
yeah.
what it was.
Like
Yeah.
there needs to
Yeah.
be pictures of you somewhere. Like
I
Yeah.
sh-
This
I
guy
shot
next
the
to
deer.
Miles
In my
Keller.
defense, before people's like he shoots at deer 90 yards, I shot the deer and hit him good.
yeah, and you
And
were
he
like,
ran
better
out.
get another one in
He
there.
ran out in
And
the field and stopped like they do, and he looked
Yep.
back at us, and you could see. We could find you the video because
Oh yeah.
and he was hit good, but I'm like, you gotta take it easy, take it easy. But, I hit him good, but I remember he's standing there, and this is one thing my Uncle Brad taught me.
Yeah.
My Uncle Brad said, if you can, I don't care where you hit him.
Right.
Boys, he told us when we were young, he'd take us to our stands, and said, if you shoot one and it runs out there and stop, you shoot it again. I don't care
Right.
if you know you
Right.
hit it good,
Right.
shoot it again if it's going to give you another shot. Well,
Right.
it's standing in a wide open field. I remember ranging like at 91 or 2.
Yeah, it was out there.
And I have a sight, and I've shot that far with that bow.
Yeah.
So I just slid it to whatever it was, 90 on my adjustable sight and let her fly. I didn't hit him good. I scratched
No.
him on the back.
Slid it down to get real.
Yeah.
Yep. It was pretty impressive to watch.
I've got, my 20, 30, 40, 50, and then out there I've got, watch this, homie. But anyway, so we have to roll this somehow because we're running out of time.
Yeah,
So
we
keep
are.
it just at around an hour, but we have to roll this back to how did we end up where we are, I guess. I mean, we're all except for Brent. Brent would be, what would we call Brent?
Brent's I always
Business.
tell people he's the money guy.
Yeah,
So-
you don't want
I would
you
call
to
it the
say
black
that.
sheep.
that.
Usually, the black sheep. No, is that not right? Yeah.
Well, and on a serious note, Brent's wisdom, business
Oh yeah,
savvy wisdom,
Yeah.
helps us with anything.
Brent,
like
you're
that.
I don't know about
you're more
that.
valuable than you.
Yeah, that's
let
this is
on.
how it
Oh, wow.
is. I mean, you let-
Consultant.
Well, I went to
About that.
Lathan and
About that.
said that we needed to get this place.
Right.
And he was like, I want to do it if Brent's involved.
Right.
And the reason why is because he felt like when it comes to business, you're on top of things.
That's right.
And
I-
you've got a confused look on your face, but you're
Well, I think it's
not bragging when other people. are
It's
doing it.
getting-
That's right.
I'm not letting you go there. Come on now.
I think what it is. You're saying I've gotten my teeth kicked in for a decade in lots of avenues. So
Well,
I
that's-
was
that's
with
fine.
you when
That's
you
yeah,
got
good.
I was gonna say we've gotten
That's deer
Uh,
hunting.
we've gotten
you
our
know?
butts kicked in business long
I've
enough
learned
that
what
He
you
doesn't
not
even know
to
it.
do.
He's a deer hunter.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
no, I
we hope to get him behind one at some point, but
shot a Matthews.
yeah, he did.
It's pretty amazing.
Why? Well, you came to me and said, I think we should buy Ultra Products. I said, what's Ultra Products?
You came to me and told me, I guess what Doug had told you,
Yeah.
because we hadn't heard it. we would have heard it
Yeah,
eventually.
eventually. Yeah.
But we hadn't heard that yet. You came to me and said, "Man, did you hear Ultra's closing?" And I was like, "No, I hadn't heard that." And of course, you automatically wonder why. And he's like, "Oh no, she's just going to retire and close up shop." And you were like, "We should go out there
Yeah.
and talk to her." I was like, "Let's do it." But I would remember you're like, "I think we should buy that." And we hadn't even been out there yet. And I was thinking, it's a nice thought.
Yeah.
That's what I just be honest.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
And
What did
guess
you think when we left?
I thought we're buying this.
Well,
Yeah.
you said something to me about it, right? And it was
Yeah.
like, well, let's just go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
Like literally
right then.
drove
yeah,
out there.
like we were
And did we have a deal in place at that point?
we did
well-
before we left. Yeah.
It didn't take
because
long.
we're working together,
Yeah.
and Doug's working with us.
Yeah. We were working construction at the time.
Yeah.
Building out some, I don't know, condos for this guy.
Right.
over here.
Some crazy thing for Brent, whatever it was.
Duplex.
Yeah.
And spray and foam
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
And I don't remember where we was working. We were here.
We were here.
We were
yeah.
here
Yeah.
because in the building across from here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I can remember it vividly because I was standing on a ladder and I told Brent what it was, and he's like, "Let's go now."
Yeah.
And
And I remember you're like, "We're going out there now." I called her. She said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Miss Carla."
Yeah.
The owner.
And
And her
we-
sister would be an owner as well.
Yes.
We done
Catherine.
we done most of our talking probably with Carla.
Yeah.
But so anyhow, yeah, we went out there and I just remember thinking, I don't know, it taught me to quit thinking some ways.
Small.
It helped me,
Right.
not that
I'm not
a-
saying that you think
no,
small,
that
but
I'm not.
sometimes
I'm
we all
not a
do.
small thinker in
No, you're
some
not.
things, but on other things, maybe I could be.
Yeah. Yeah,
I-
it just seemed like a reach.
Yeah,
a
because
stretch.
I'm like, for one, it would be so awesome. I'd love because it's just like a passion to.
Right.
It maybe don't make sense to people. Just to take a string off a bow and put it back on makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I done it at home. We didn't go in, and no way can we go into all those stories. But when I got that first bow, I was like, I didn't know what a bow shop was, so I just started shooting it.
Yeah.
Had a flipper sight on it, stick on flipper.
Yeah, the flipper rest. Yeah.
I remember.
shot fingers.
I probably shouldn't say that. Never mind. I was thinking about the first time I saw you press a bow, and
Oh,
and
wow,
that's
that
not
was
something
cool.
we want to encourage people to do.
No,
so,
There
but
are
I did it.
ways.
yeah.
And shot fingers. Someone said, "Hey, you need sights." I put sights on there from somebody give me.
Yeah.
Little brass pins.
Brass pins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
And shot canted, which means shooting
Yep.
a bow not
Yeah.
straight up and down.
Like
I tilt it.
Legolas.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a traditional style fingers.
Yeah.
Somehow still using pins.
Yeah.
Figure that one
That
out.
shouldn't have worked, but you did it.
And shot fingers. I shot until my fingers bled at times. I just loved it. I'd have to beg to go buy arrows, and because you destroy them and lose them, and
Yeah.
and then someone said, "Hey, you need a kisser button on that thing."
Huh?
What's that? So somebody took me somewhere and got a kisser button, tied it on with dental floss, glue and dental floss, it on there.
Seen that done before.
Yeah.
And you shoot that way for a while, and then someone said, "Oh, you need a peep sight in there." Shoving stuff in the string that should never be shoved in the string to separate it to
Oh,
get
yeah.
a peep sight in it.
Butter knives.
That'll
and all
cut
kinds
'em.
of stuff.
Yeah, it'll do it. Don't
Yeah.
do it. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We've cut strings.
Yeah.
And then someone said, "Oh man, you need a release aid." Remember, for a long time, no one just said release.
Right. Right.
You need a release aid.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, what's
check.
that?" And I went and got one. Talked mom into buying me one of those little plastic
Yes,
thumb
with
the
button ones.
Thumb plunger on it.
Put
yeah.
it on the string, drawed it back, and let go of the release.
Yep.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
shot fingers for
Oh, yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let go of the release.
Did it ricochet off the bow?
Oh,
end and
it stayed
smack
on
you in
the
face?
string. The arrow shot, and it's a wonder it didn't hurt. Nothing that I remember, but
Well, there wasn't enough.
And that's
torque
how he
wound
killed
up.
the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
and that's what's wrong with my little brother.
Oh,
No,
my.
but anyhow, we strayed. But so we went out there and talked to her, and by the time we left, we were like, I think it just felt right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one.
Some
thing
things
about
do,
it.
and that was one of them.
You know, one of the neat things that all proceeded pretty quickly. I mean, for what an undertaking turned out to really be, that part of it kind of went pretty quickly. But when when it came time to move, because the business didn't stay where it was, you
Yeah.
know, the business moved.
Right. Yeah.
So when we had to start that process of moving all that stuff, it was
I
amazing.
still have nightmares.
Yeah, it was
Like-
rough. It was overwhelming a little
a-
at first,
Yeah.
but
50-year-old business.
I mean,
Yeah.
but wasn't it cool though? We're going through boxes of things from the early 80s,
Oh,
things that
it's
we
like you're a
haven't
kid
seen.
again,
It
man.
was one of
Like,
the coolest things.
I don't
I've
know
ever done
how
in my
many
life.
times across the room or the other side of the building,
Yeah.
Lathan or Wes or somebody would say, "Hey, look at this. Look at this. Have you seen one of these in years?
Yeah.
Remember these? Remember
Yeah.
this? Remember that?"
Oh,
Yeah.
And
it was so awesome. Yeah.
It was almost just too distracting because you kept every time we'd uncover something, it's like, look
Right.
at
What was
this.
the coolest thing that we found in there?
Golly gee.
I know what I'm thinking, but you know, we found enough overdraws to resupply the world.
Yeah.
And I never got an overdraw, but I remember when the overdraw craze was huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People
Short
shooting like
arrows.
16-inch arrows.
Yeah.
And
If
And
you'd
I-
like an overdraw,
I think I know where there's about,
tomorrow at 10 o'clock we'll get 'em. But anyway, I never got one. And
I
wanted
think we've
one.
got over 500 of
Yeah,
them out
there's
But
there.
they were-
there's a bunch.
They were expensive back then.
Oh yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was.
It was an add-on to a bow that was
Yep.
kind of a big deal
Yep.
and somewhat dangerous.
somewhat dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
You
wasn't
know.
it wasn't really even the best idea in the world, but it made a fast bow. And
Yeah.
people fell for that. Speed sells.
Yeah.
So people were all over.
Still
it. Yeah,
sells quite a
absolutely.
bit, you know. But the I'm trying to think what's the coolest thing I found out there.
I think that Scott release is pretty cool. The one that's a bear.
Right.
I mean,
No, the
Wonder-
big brown one.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The
It's like-
size of a 2x4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool.
yeah.
Some
Yeah.
of them old releases are cool.
Yeah. There was just
Some
so
of
many.
the old sights.
Yeah. All the
like,
sights and gadgets,
like
pendulum sights.
pendulum sights.
Yeah.
That's like I've never seen some of those.
Yeah.
And I was a pretty good student of
Right.
bow
right.
products, you know, Peterson's bow hunting
Right. Right.
and all that stuff. I'd sit and go through those magazines when I was a kid. And I
Yeah.
always knew what was new
Right.
about it, but I never
Dreamed
could-
about having
yeah.
it.
Oh
And-
yeah, because we still got them here somewhere. I think there's some over here, but is it Scout Mountain Sights? Oh, I wanted a Scout Mountain Sight so bad, you know. And I was
Yeah.
like, you'd look in a magazine and they'd be $32.
Yeah.
Half the price of the bow you just bought.
Yeah, I was like, $32 for a 3-pin sight. But
Yeah.
look how awesome they are, you know. And I just,
Yeah.
I never did have
Oh,
one.
yeah.
So I do remember.
He was like, check this out.
Yeah.
I was
It
like,
probably
man, you
meant-
got 40 of them.
It probably means
He was in tears in the corner for hours.
probably means nothing to somebody that didn't want that.
That's right. That didn't know.
You know,
Yeah.
some of the old broadheads are cool.
Yeah. Well, I know like the boys were helping us, Christopher and Colton at the time,
Yeah.
and they didn't even know what we were talking about. They're like,
No, they were confused.
you know, we're like,
man.
look at this. Look at this.
Oh
and
no,
they're
because I
like,
forget how Chris is younger than us.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'd be digging through something. I was like, Chris, remember this?
Yeah. He
You
has
know?
no clue. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that was for me.
This is a bow, Brent.
Yeah. For me, not being in that world, the coolest part was watching two,
It
of,
was
my,
like
two of my
Christmas,
best
dude.
friends have the time of their life. It's like,
No doubt.
dude, it was so much fun. Like, I know nothing about any of that, but I'd hear Lathan, then I'd hear Wes go, "Oh my gosh, look at this! Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is so cool."
We probably could
Like,
have
that
done
was
the
fun.
job
That was
in
fun
a
to
lot
watch.
less time.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
half the time.
Yeah.
But
But it was
we
just,
just
so
sat,
cool.
you know, and then you get to the
Carlo
camp.
was probably like, would these guys get out
Just
of here?
please
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah.
If I have to hear one more time, hey, check
there, was,
this out.
there was a lot
Yeah.
of those moments.
Yeah.
A lot.
I bet we said, remember this.
Oh yeah.
Remember this.
It was so much fun. I mean, I just, you know, it was a job and it was somewhat where we thought, oh, we have to make all this leave here and get to a new spot, which wasn't quite ready yet.
It was not.
That's a
And-
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the
Itself,
miraculous
right.
events that went
Which is
into-
this building.
Yes, the
Yeah.
building
but
we're
was
sitting in.
nowhere near ready.
It was
to be
still
done.
It was a pallet.
warehouse.
yeah.
pallet repair.
Oh,
That's
type,
a
yeah.
cool story there.
Yeah.
I mean, basically made our job 10 times more difficult because we piled all this stuff in a place that was not finished yet that we had to work around. I mean, some of the work had been done.
I caught a bunch of stuff on fire.
Yeah.
Had to
Almost,
apologize.
almost burned the building
Yeah,
down
there
before
was-
we started.
There was a fire. Yes, I
Uh,
recall that. That was a heck of
yeah.
a day.
It's our ultra fire.
Yeah, it was an ultra fire. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So yeah,
yeah.
Turned out all right.
yeah. It all went okay.
Which you guys wanted it here. We were talking about locations.
Yeah.
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 Well,
we
so
were-
let's put it here.
yeah.
I mean, I still think this is good. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always like something you could always think of that, what if it was, we did this, or what if it was there? But I really think this is still
Yeah.
a good choice.
We'll have to post
The
some
location.
before and after pictures.
yeah.
of
For
it at
sure,
some
you
point.
Do you
do
still
that.
have some good
Yeah, I've
ones?
got some good
Because
ones.
man,
Yeah.
it was
So, dude, crazy.
one of the
People wouldn't even
walkthrough,
believe it.
No.
the
no.
walkthrough video that you
Yeah.
had. Do you
Yeah.
still have that?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh my,
Yeah, it's bad.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Like that is this building. It's pretty crazy, but a lot of work and a lot more time than we would have thought it would take to get this ready. There was just so much to do.
Well, that's
We're at an hour.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's
I
it?
don't know how long you want to go, but
I got all night, boys.
well, and that, I'll say, shout out to you two on that one, because I mean, you guys laid it out, picked everything out, did the work on it. I mean, you guys,
Doug
Made it
did,
happen.
Doug did a bunch of work in here.
yeah. You did.
yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Just the shoddy stuff. I left the
Yeah.
good stuff to those
I
guys.
think he set the stools in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've tore them up a couple
That was-
times.
Uh-oh.
Eventually, we'd have to get some.
Oh.
That's right. You just can't have an hour without it, I guess.
Yeah. So basically, we're three guys.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Leave it to us to derail the whole thing.
Yeah. So we're three guys that
Mm,
three of us that have a passion for archery, especially.
yeah.
I mean, hunting in general.
Yep.
But man, archery's my thing. Bow hunting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
even have a hard time calling it archery hunting because it was like bow hunting for me.
Right. Right.
Because I've never been a target archer, although I'd love to shoot at targets.
Yep.
But just the whole bow hunting thing. Like every once in a while, I'm walking out carrying my bow, and it feels good just to walk
Mm. Oh,
in
yeah.
and out with your bow in your hand.
Yep.
So we're like three guys that love that. Me probably more than them. No, I'm just
What a
teasing.
clown.
I'm just teasing.
I knew it.
That was a big thing for me, actually, when
And,
deciding to come on
That it was
with
that
it to
a
go in.
passion for us.
Yeah,
And
I
a
loved how much you guys loved it.
Yeah. Well, that's like the business mind kind of engages there, because you think, if I can find somebody that is passionate about something
Right.
and get them pointed in the right direction, you're like our arrow.
Well,
You're like the broadhead on the
I
tip
mean,
of
it's-
the
There's
arrow.
danger in that too. Though.
right. It's good to
Because
bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
Right. But
Like he's the equalizer because we love it
Right. And we'll
to the
just,
point to
we're
where we can
blind.
get
Right.
blind.
right. Because I can sit and stare at a scout mountain sight for 5 minutes and be like, I want this.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
from 1982, Lathan. Put that down.
Put it
Right.
down. Back
Right.
away.
Come back to reality.
Yeah. But I would say another unique thing that has worked, and we've proven it before Ultra that can work, is to work together and basically be all kind of like best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know, I'm not going to say countless people, but I know of several I can think of right off the top of my head that were best friends that tried to endeavor into a business type thing together.
And it wasn't
and
good.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
I speak to that for a second?
Yes.
Sure.
Because I
Because
think.
this is where you would shine.
Well, no, I just
Go
think,
ahead, you shine.
No,
You've got at least 30 seconds
Yeah.
to shine.
I'll do it quick. So why I think it works well? Number one, trust.
Yeah.
I trust both of you with my life, so I think that's fair.
Can Jarrett get the tissues? Because this is going to get
No. But that's number one, right?
right.
There's a lot of faith and trust that goes into that.
Yeah.
Two, the skill sets between the three of us are very different.
That's for sure.
Very different. And I think that helps a lot. We see value in each other differently. And
You say skill sets. I guess explain that. It's like, I mean, I feel like I know what you mean.
yeah, I mean, like,
But, like,
I mean,
what
you're
you're really-
utilitarian. Like you're good.
you're
with
an
your hands
engineer,
and getting
right? You're an
things
engineer
done and-
minded. You can
yeah.
reverse engineer things, put things back together. I mean, there's a lot to go into that.
So you're saying, like, if we were all that,
It wouldn't work so
Yeah.
well.
it
Right.
may not work as
Right.
good.
Right.
And I'm a dreamer,
Yes.
and
right.
I will do like I'll come up with all sorts of ideas.
I want to be a dreamer too. Can I be a
Yeah.
dreamer?
I think
But-
you guys
but the
both
thing
are.
is,
we all are
you're-
in different
I'm just
degrees,
a-
you know.
yeah. But I think that's an area
Is
where it's
dreamer
like,
a skill set?
But, oh,
You know, it's something.
I'm
It's
out.
something.
no, I'm teasing. I should shut up.
I would say visionary. more than
Visionary.
dreamer.
That's what I
Hey,
like.
that
Yeah.
sounds way
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is.
I'm
But
gonna
you
put
did.
that on my
Yeah.
business card.
better than
Yeah,
it really
visionary.
is.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, nice.
And
But-
Brent
But
is,
you had that.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, hey, let's do this. And I'm
But
like,
sometimes that's to
okay.
a detriment too.
Yeah,
Well, that's where what you're saying
Without trust and
works.
faith.
And,
Well,
and without
and-
someone
and
to
other
direct
people.
you at
Exactly.
times.
Right.
Yeah.
that governing factor where,
Right.
there's times, and we all do it. Well, we have this great idea in our own mind. It's a great idea.
Right.
And then, by the time you get it out, somebody says, hey, yeah, but what about this? And start to reel it back in a little bit and realize that maybe it needs a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
adjustment.
Yeah.
And Wes is good with ideas. He comes
I
up
would
with a
say
bunch.
you're very good at getting deals, man. Talking to people.
Oh, there's no
And I'm
question
not
there.
talking about we got it for this cheap
Yeah.
amount. I'm talking about talking to people. I'm like, well, we really want to do it this way. Can we do it this way? And talking that out. That is not my stream.
Yeah. I'm good at getting deals too.
You are
though.
good at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
pretty good at deals.
Well, and
Yeah. I mean, he got me to give him my first
Even
part.
I know.
with
How about that?
even with Iconic, there was a point to where
Yeah.
I remember one of the guys was like, might need to let them make some money. And I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever
the thing-
that is, we apologize.
the thing for me was, I just knew you guys would make it work. You need me when you need me.
We're 8
Ask
months
me.
in, so
Right,
we'll
right.
see.
But I mean, there's just no quit there, right?
It's
We've
working.
been, I guess, me and you specifically, longer than me and
Yeah.
Lathan. But I mean, we've been in Iconic for 12 years, and there's a lot of times we could have just closed the doors and been done.
Yeah.
Lots of times, but there's just no quit there, right? So that's
I-
where I had faith. And like,
So we've-
they'll do what they'll do what they need to do to make it work, right?
So we've got a utilitarian. I have to look that word up after
Yeah.
this so I can
I know
find
you
out what
used
I
it a
am.
couple of times. You better be sure.
A
probably
visionary
wrong.
/ deal maker.
And
And
I
then
feel
like
like
the-
Brent is the grounding
like
rod.
the Vince McMahon.
No, I mean,
There you go.
my brother will appreciate that reference.
I appreciate that reference.
Ryan, you'll love that.
Oh, man.
Um,
Remember when Donald Trump smacked him or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
That was awesome. Oh man.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Yeah. Trying to
Derailed
look-
again.
So now we're here
Yeah.
and just looking at what we are and how we, how come you think it works so good? That's what you were kind of
Yeah.
addressing. We got
Again,
lots of rabbit trails we can go down.
Trust and skill set, right? I mean, you trust me to handle things that Iconic, right?
Well,
I mean, you
that's
just-
like the other day. I was getting money out of the cash box.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if one were to see this,
Mhm.
they'd think, "What's that guy doing?" But I know that you guys know me.
Yeah.
So you know that money's going somewhere for a
Right.
purpose. It's
Right.
not just, and there's elements of that you got to have if you're going to be a business partner.
Right.
You
A lot
gotta
of
be-
places, a lot of people wouldn't have that.
Yeah.
On top of that, though, trust is absolutely important.
That's
But-
how my kids ate that night.
Oh, my.
Hey, extra
there's-
large pepperoni. No.
in terms of like having things work, there's an aspect, and everyone here has it, varying degrees at different times. You have to be humble enough
Yeah.
to step back once in a while when other things are going on and other people have motivations and ideas and even criticisms about maybe what you're doing.
Yeah.
And everybody here has that, where you have to have that where you're not so proud that you can't say, maybe sometimes, yeah, I screwed up. Or, okay, maybe your way, we'll try that first, or whatever, but not to get so everybody is always at odds, because there's just so many times, there's just too many circumstances where you just need to have just enough in you to just back up for a minute and say, all right, I don't have to be that guy. It doesn't have to be my thing, and as soon as you get more than one person doing something, that has to be
Yeah.
a part of it. There's a push and pull there.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
watching them lay out the vision for this and what they wanted to do, I'm like, call me if you need me.
Yeah.
Like I can have vision for other things. I did not for this. Like this was all them, and they've done an awesome job. So
This is the starting point.
yeah,
I feel like there's a lot more to come. So,
oh yeah,
yeah,
So that in a roundabout
that's where we're at.
rabbit trail path,
Pretty good one.
crisscross back and forth a couple times, is how we ended up sitting around this table.
So,
we didn't really talk about how me and you necessarily met, but that was through
Yeah, the first time I remember you, I think I told you this recently. We were talking about it.
yeah
I
church.
No,
No,
the
we were
first
talking
time
about it
I
at church.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
it at church after church, or something like that. But I remember. It's ironic, but I remember being in the backyard of Iconic, in the very tip top of a maple tree, like 75
You were high.
feet.
you were way up
It
there.
was high enough that I was uncomfortable for
Yeah.
you.
hanging out of a tree,
Yeah.
topping the tree out.
We had to cut some trees and we got some quotes. And I was like, I know somebody's cheaper.
Getting good deals. Getting good
That's
deals.
right, there he is.
I think
He's
I cut
coming
them
through.
down for $300. I don't think I ever finished the job either.
Yeah, but you
No, but
got
you
it
got the
close
dangerous
enough.
stuff
Yeah.
done.
I left that one that was eating into
Mm.
the side of that little building because I
Yeah.
remember thinking I gotta go back, and it was a little tree.
Yeah.
There was a huge ash tree leaning over
Yep.
the what at that time
Yeah.
was the studio,
Oh,
and then there was a maple tree, and you had that little bitty fenced in backyard and nowhere they had to be
Oh, man.
climbed. They had to
Yeah.
be climbed, and you had me come over, and I was like, I can cut those down.
I got
just-
this.
dude.
I climbed to the top.
Mm.
But anyway, I down a rabbit trail, but I'm like 70 feet in the top of a maple tree, cutting off limbs and topping it out, which that's not my profession, but I thought I can do that. And I looked down, and there's this guy on the ground going, like
Dude,
nodding his head,
You were
like,
so high. Like,
oh my! You could see the look on your face. And before you went back in, you took pictures. of
Yep.
me.
Yep. well, you
took-
weren't tied into anything,
Oh, I was tied on, I think.
were you?
Safety
At
first.
times.
Tied to
I was gonna
God.
say,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean,
well,
you have to untie to move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I was sawing and cutting, I was, yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
yeah, I think I was
It
tied
was
in.
so far up there. How could you really know?
He wasn't
Yeah.
tied in.
So that's
If insurance
that's
is listening, he was definitely.
He was,
Oh, yeah.
he was
Yeah.
triple
that's the
tied.
first time I remember seeing you. I knew of you, and I knew that Wes was in some business endeavor with the studio with a guy
Yeah.
named Brent Lake.
Yeah.
And
then
then,
we started talking church.
yeah, years later,
Yeah.
after that,
I thought you
When
didn't
you
like
guys-
me. So
He did mention that once or twice,
yeah,
but I mean, he got
I
over
was
it.
like,
Yeah.
man, you just must not like me. I don't know.
we can't start that
Oh,
conversation.
no, we should stop.
Because it's 7:13, so we've been an hour and almost 15 minutes in. So, if
So
you
do
wanna-
we cut it off? And
I
like
don't-
the only other thing was we had mentioned we want to ask both of you guys because me and Lathan are going to be the constants here. Like we'll be, typically the host.
Yeah.
But our question for you guys as our guest today. So what would you tell yourself? What would you tell your 16-year-old self now if you could go back? That's one of the questions we'd like to ask you.
What in the world?
just going to
Where
end
does
this.
stuff
Yeah,
come
just going to
from?
end the
Give me a
show.
heads up
We'll
for
end it
that.
with that
It
question.
would have been nice to get
And
that.
we'll try to answer it.
What-
I
what-
told myself I was going to really concentrate and think on it, and got busy setting up a new lift. By the way,
Yeah.
Matthews.
Well,
We've
went
got
out-
those here in the shop.
Just went out the door a while ago. I was setting it up, and I got sidetracked, and I didn't think about that question. So they can answer first while I think about my answer.
Well, you don't even really have to. They have to, though, for
yeah,
sure.
but
I didn't really
okay.
think about it either.
So you guys are great. You come up with this question for us, and you
Yeah.
haven't even given it any thought.
No, we gave it
Nice.
thought.
Nice.
Literally, what we thought
Nice.
was what'll stump them.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll do it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So if you
What kind of
that's-
advice would you give your 16-year-old self? Brent, you're up
Mm.
first.
Man. Just to probably take more risk. And yeah, probably take more risk.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Man was running a business at 20 years old.
And he was disappointed in
Yeah.
himself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I think just everything works out okay. Everything always works out. Take educated,
Yeah.
calculated risk, but educate and then act on it, right?
Yeah.
Educate on what you want to do and act on
You're good
I
at
was-
surrounding yourself with the right people.
it.
You really are.
I am good at that. I am very good at that.
That's
Oh,
very-
my.
that was a
Oh,
song.
I'm not smart enough to do the things I want to do, so I have to bring in other people to help me with it.
that's how life works, actually.
So you would
Yeah.
tell 16-year-old Brent, one thing you need to do from this point on, take more risk.
Educate yourself and take more risk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably maybe not for 16, maybe a little young, but everything will work out.
I was
Everything's gonna
pretty
work out
risky
okay.
at 16.
Yeah, I was probably taking more risks than need be at that time.
Okay.
Doug, what would you tell yourself at
Uh,
16?
Take better care of my hair because now I don't have it. I
Yeah.
should have. I don't know.
I'm not sure that would have mattered,
Yeah,
Doug.
no, but I
Yeah.
would have had a
Yeah.
better few years prior
Yeah,
to
but
it
we're not
leaving.
letting you off with that one. So
I mean,
start thinking again.
Yeah, I guess I would. For me, it would be a little more diligent, not to give up on things that I really knew I could do.
Yeah.
It was, there's always temptations to just say, oh, this just isn't working, whatever. And I think I would, there would just be, I think for me, there's probably times when I might have done things a little differently if I was just a little more diligent and not sort of hop back and forth to different things. And
So take risk.
hey, maybe I should have taken
What?
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's some times I might have just, stuck with things a little bit longer, and things might have, worked out a little bit better. It's just avoid the discouragement, which is, kind of, a hunter deals with, you hunt, you find that you lose most of the time, and every once in a while you succeed.
Yeah.
But we're diligent with that.
Mhm.
And if I applied some of that same diligence to other parts of life, sometimes, over the years, it probably would have been a little bit better. But anyway,
Words of wisdom from Doug Doty.
Yeah.
there just isn't much there. So you're going to have to just
Yeah, I
run
was
with that.
thinking like deep thoughts from Jack Handy.
Oh, my.
Well,
COVID really took the fear out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, surviving.
That's amazing because it put the fear in a lot of people.
it really did.
Well, I remember me and you talking about it. You came into my office. You're like, man, what are we going to do if they shut schools down?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Diversify.
Yeah.
Because
we'll
that
figure
was
it
a
out.
primary
I mean,
part
everybody.
of your.
Yeah, everybody.
It
shut-
was
that,
the
that was the
business.
Well,
business.
that's our
Yeah,
business.
that's all.
that
we did.
was a turning point, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, a
Yeah.
lot of this
So
stuff we're doing now.
I want to answer it. You going to answer it?
Sure. You go first.
Oh, I was wanting you to go first.
He wasn't ready.
Should have been thinking while Doug was talking.
I gave you time.
Yeah. I was actually like what you were saying kind of would bear witness with me as what'd we say, 16. I wish I would have grasped following through with certain things.
Mhm.
And it sounds like I'm going to end up saying, take more risk, educate myself, because it's kind of the same thing. You say it in a different way, but
Right.
and maybe I think I was like, I take what you say about being a dreamer. I think I've always been a dreamer about things, but I think I had I don't know where it came from, maybe a frame of mind at that age that's all it would ever be.
Hmm.
And it would stay in the realm of the daydream
Yeah.
of something. I mean, I still, I just drive over here sometimes early or on a Sunday afternoon if we're not doing nothing at the church or something like that, just to walk in here and yoke tune my bow when
Yeah.
it don't need it, stuff like that. Cause it's just, I don't know. And I can think back through life, there's things maybe I should have pursued. And that's kind of what we're all saying. There's things I should have pursued or stuck with or didn't have like a mentality is like, well, that can't ever be because I'm just me. I'm just a I'm just, podunk boy from Southern Illinois that don't know nothing but go chase a deer,
Yeah.
or something like that, I guess.
Maybe that's what I should have said. Was just think bigger in general.
I think bigger.
Yeah.
Because my thing, I think I thought big, but then I think I ended my thought with like, that probably never happened to me.
Yeah.
So you don't pursue it.
Right.
If you
Right.
end your dream that way, you don't pursue it.
Yeah.
And there's many other things that's helped me come out of that. Most of them are found in the pages of the Bible and through good teaching have helped me come out of that mentality. But you guys have helped me do that for sure. Like when Wes come to me and said, we need to go talk to her. I think we could buy that, and start our own boat shop. And I was like, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And I probably ended that thought with like, that probably won't ever work. And that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm out. Go ahead.
I think mine would be don't try and become what other people think you should be. Like, because I think there was a period of my life where that's what I did. I
Yeah.
tried to become what I felt like,
Yeah.
People
go to
want-
college.
Yep.
What
100%.
people wanted you to, what
Yeah.
other people wanted you.
Yeah. If I was going to tell my 16-year-old self, I'd be like, tell all those other people, they ain't you.
Yeah.
You're going to take care of you.
Yeah, you go with what's in your heart. I
Yeah.
guess what you're saying.
And I
instead
think
of-
I missed that for a while. Like, I think I was chasing something that I probably shouldn't have been chasing. So,
Yeah.
But,
I think that's good.
all right.
wow.
So that's episode number 1. So next
Up
week,
for discussion.
that's right, up for discussion. And I think we discussed pretty well. So
Yeah.
An hour and
So if you
20 minutes.
if you haven't followed us at Up for Discussion, follow us,
follow, like, share, comment.
comment.
All those things will keep you in the know, and it will also help us make sure that we're staying on top of your feed.
So subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe
Yeah.
on YouTube. We'll be on TikTok as well. So that's right. I guess we're helping the Chinese now.
Oh
So,
my
yeah.
lands. Anyway, well, and then just real quick, we'll have guests on here.
Yep.
There could be times it's just me, you, and Jared or somebody like
Hey,
that.
me, you, and the Holy Spirit,
That's
brother.
right. We can go
So,
around the world and
Yeah,
never
that's
leave
right.
never leave this table right here. But so we'll be having guests, all kinds of different topics,
yeah.
hunting related, maybe not even sometimes.
If you guys get a chance, you'll want to tune in next week. Next week, we've got a real cool show that we're going to be doing. We'll be going to the ATA in St. Louis. And we're going on Thursday. We're going to check out all the things that are new coming out. And we'll be back here on Thursday afternoon in the evening. And we'll have our live, and we'll talk about the things that we've seen. We'll have pictures. We'll keep you guys basically in the know. So
We'll have our best pick for the day at the
Oh, yeah.
ATA.
no.
Boy, I like
Is Doug
Pick
going
of
to
the
be
day.
here? You're going to come back next week?
Hey, I can. I mean, just what
I mean, I don't want to invite him if you don't want him here.
Let me pray on it.
Oh, this
No,
is painful.
Well,
if
'cause you're
Doug
going
is
on-
open,
Yeah,
yes, he's going to go with us
Thursday.
on
Yep,
Thursday.
yep.
So
So you would be a voice
Yeah.
to.
Sure. Just whatever you need.
Can
I'm
we
here.
do that
I'm
on
here
the
for you
fly?
guys.
I mean, did you have other people?
no,
we
that's
haven't-
perfect.
That
Yeah.
way we can kind of have like our pick for the day
Yeah.
on what was cool
Sure.
Yeah,
and maybe blew our mind to some degree. Whether
Sounds
it be a
good.
broadhead,
Whatever you
an
guys
arrow, a
need, you know
bow.
how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you can be here.
that sounds great. So, yeah, I think that's it. If all hearts and mind are clear.
Hearts
Yeah.
and minds clear.
Yeah.
Doug, will you close us out? No problem.
Thanks a lot for tuning in, and this is Up for Discussion. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.